We actually utilize local and statewide media. One of the most successful things I think we did is after a lunch I had with the editor of the local newspaper, we came up with an idea to run a weekly column. And I believe that what can help communities understand projects better is if you really dig deep into the education of what you're doing. And this team was completely dedicated to that. This team actually always used to sit me down and walk me through trying to like engineering speak and make it an external facing message. So we already had that rhythm pretty well down, but we felt it was important to talk about everything that we were doing, everything that was coming, all the impactful things that were happening. So this column became something I believe that humanized the project for people. We did little snippets of team members so people could get to know who they were. It kind of gave a different flavor to the project. It brought it a little closer to home. I went to CDOT headquarters team and asked if we could do a project-specific Facebook page. They agreed to let us do that. It was the first time they'd agreed to have a project-specific Facebook page, and it was an unbelievable tool for us because there's so many people that use Facebook. If we had something happen very quickly within the project that needed to get up there, that was a great way to get it out. The beauty of Facebook is that if you start it and you're the lead agency with the information and someone else is going to share the information, it just kind of grows and grows. We did use the traditional tools of press releases to let people know what we were doing. CoTrip was a big tool that we used for communications. So we did have the weekly traffic impact document or newsletter. And I believe CDOT has now even moved to a system where they're doing that for every project. Then we did ask people to opt into that as well. That was used up and down the valley with our stakeholder list. And we wanted to make sure no one could say they didn't know where to get the information or they hadn't heard what was happening. Kathleen's team had built a really strong website that we used to have that kind of landing place for people to always go back to. But I will say the Facebook page was pretty instrumental. We did hear, though, there's people that don't use social media. So that's why we would also go back to using those traditional tools. There was a radio show out of Parachute. I remember going constantly to be on her radio show. It wasn't a club in Glenwood that we didn't reach out to and say, can you get us on your agenda and let us come talk to you?
If somebody wrote a letter to the paper, and this was particularly true in the project development phase, one of us would call them and talk to them and just try and figure out what their concerns were or try and make that contact with them.
One of our communication tools that we used was breaking down the project into phases and then utilizing infographics for each of those phases. So when we were communicating the project about what we were doing within this phase, because the project area was so large, we were able to graphically communicate various aspects of what construction activities are happening in those phases, and then breaking down each one of those construction activities and how they were impacting depending on where they were located.